Have you ever wondered why some of the best places in the world for families are often overlooked? Today, I'm going to share with you why Malaysia, in 2025, is perhaps the most underrated country for families to live in, travel to, or even settle down. And trust me, by the end of this video, you might see Malaysia in a completely new light. Imagine a place where your children can grow up surrounded by vibrant culture, modern facilities, incredible nature, and still enjoy a safe, family-friendly environment. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, that's exactly what Malaysia offers. Before we dive deeper, let me ask you something. When you think of family-friendly countries, what comes to mind? Maybe Canada, maybe Australia, or even Japan. But here's the twist: Malaysia is quietly building everything those countries have, at a fraction of the cost and with a warmth you can't put a price on. Did you know Malaysia is ranked among the top safest countries in Asia for families in 2025? Surprised? Most people are. Let's start with education, because for any family, that's a big deal. Malaysia offers some of the most affordable yet high-quality education systems in Asia, from internationally accredited private schools to government schools that now emphasize bilingual education and critical thinking. And here's the kicker: many expat families are choosing Malaysia over Western countries because the cost of international schooling here is almost half of what they would pay in places like Singapore or the UK. Wouldn't you want your kids to have global exposure without drowning in debt? Now think about this: what's the one thing families always dream of? Quality of life. Parks, playgrounds, activities, healthcare, all at your fingertips. Malaysia has been transforming its urban spaces. Cities like Kuala Lumpur, Penang, and even Johor Bahru are now filled with green zones, family-friendly malls, theme parks, and safe cycling tracks. How often do you hear that about a developing country? Not much, right? But here's Malaysia, quietly doing it. Quick question for you: would you rather raise your kids in a fast-paced, expensive city where you work 60 hours a week to survive, or in a country where you can work, live comfortably, and still have time for family weekends by the beach or in the highlands? Malaysia makes that second choice possible. Just imagine, one weekend at Langkawi's beaches, the next exploring Cameron Highlands tea plantations, all without breaking the bank. Healthcare is another reason families hesitate to move abroad. But here's a twist: Malaysia has one of the most advanced and affordable healthcare systems in Asia, with many hospitals now partnering with international insurance providers. In fact, it has become a medical tourism hub not just for individuals but for entire families seeking quality treatment at lower costs. Culturally, Malaysia is a gem for families. You don't just move here, you expose your children to a unique mix of Malay, Chinese, Indian, and indigenous traditions, festivals, and food. Where else can your child celebrate Hari Raya, Chinese New Year, and Deepavali in the same year, surrounded by neighbors who treat each other like family? How do you think that shapes a child's worldview? It creates openness, respect, and understanding, qualities we all want in the next generation. And here's something many don't know: Malaysia in 2025 is becoming one of the easiest countries for families to integrate into. The Digital Nomad Visa, the MM2H, Malaysia My Second Home, program, and new expat-friendly regulations are making it smoother than ever. Whether you're from Europe, the Middle East, or Asia, settling in Malaysia has never been more straightforward. Let me ask you, do you think family life is only about income, or is it about balance? In Malaysia, the cost of living is still relatively low compared to the US, UK, or even Singapore. A family of 4 can live comfortably on what would barely cover rent in New York or London. You can have a car, a house with space for your kids to run around, eat out every week, and still save. That's what makes this country a hidden treasure. Here's a surprising twist: Malaysia is not just about city life. Families who prefer a quieter, nature-rich lifestyle are moving to places like Ipoh, Kuching, and Kota Kinabalu, where the pace is slower, the air is cleaner, and nature is right at your doorstep. How often do you get to see your kids hiking in rainforests, spotting hornbills, or snorkeling in turquoise waters on a regular weekend? And let's talk about the people, because that's what truly makes a country feel like home. Malaysians are known for their hospitality. Neighbors still greet each other, strangers will help you if your car breaks down, and communities often invite you to local gatherings even if you just moved in. That sense of community is something many families feel is missing in more developed countries. So, here's a question for you: what do you think makes a country truly family-friendly? Is it the infrastructure, the cost of living, or the sense of belonging? In Malaysia, you get a rare mix of all three. And the best part? It's still growing. New infrastructure projects, better internet coverage even in rural areas, improved transportation networks, all these make life easier for families year after year. Now, let's address one myth. People often assume Malaysia is only for retirees or budget travelers. Not true anymore. In 2025, the country is attracting young families, entrepreneurs, digital workers, and even locals returning from overseas because they see a better future here for their kids. Imagine this: you're sitting with your family, watching the sunset over the Petronas Towers or on a quiet beach in Sabah, knowing that you're not just surviving, you're living. Doesn't that sound like something more families should know about? So, now that you've seen this side of Malaysia, what do you think? Have you underestimated it? Or are you starting to see why this could be one of the best decisions for your family? If you found these insights eye-opening, share them with someone who's considering a family move, drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's start a real conversation about what family-friendly truly means.